So while we're on the topic of video games, that's the big story today, is Gamestop, the brick and mortar retailer, that it's seen its stock shoot up. Like, okay, you gotta... That, by the way, that's the GameCube intro music. That is GameStop's stock price. This at like the height, 2007 was their stock price. That's when they were doing great. That's their stock price today. It has been insane. So we've got a bunch of... I guess I got to try to explain it first of all. I don't know anything about fucking financial. In the course of doing my video editing, my audio editing, I do a lot of financial work. I do videos. I make financial products for people. I edit financial podcasts. I have no fucking clue what these people are doing. And I sit when I'm editing like a podcast that's business, or I do news of the day through videos, articles, and shit. We're talking about GameStop right now. We're going to talk about AOC dunking on Ted Cruz, Marjorie Taylor Greene being a nut job. She chased down David Hogg. Am I a libertarian? No. You think that's a Gadsden flag behind me, but that's actually my own original design that says right-wingers are morons and has a derpy snake on it. Hold on. Because right-wingers are the dumbest fucks walking the planet. I meet libertarians and I'm like, all right, explain to me the problem of initial just acquisition. And they look at me like I got turds coming out of my mouth. And like one of them, I said, explain the problem of initial just acquisition. And he's like, that sounds like some liberal bullshit. And I'm like, no, that sounds like Nozick's own fucking critique of his goddamn philosophy, you dumb motherfucker. So no, I'm not a fan of libertarians. So if you were to chart me on the political axis, I'm way down there in the libertarian left side. So we're gonna listen to a rich motherfucker on CNBC give us a lowdown, but this guy's pretty cool. I wouldn't call myself that, no. Yes, on the political, when you take the political compass, I'm all the way down in the left corner at the bottom. I don't personally see myself like that though. And I especially wouldn't call myself a libertarian, because you call yourself a libertarian and you think like fucking people that want to abolish the age of consent or some shit. A lot of people pop in the chat and ask me if I'm libertarian. Yeah. A lot of libertarians think there shouldn't be laws and that the government getting in between them making a contract with a child is a bad thing. And if you follow libertarian philosophy to its conclusion, of course, like, you shouldn't be able to stand in the way of that contract. A kid should be able to fucking work in the mines because they got little hands. They can do things others can't. There shouldn't be an age of consent. I told you, right-wingers are morons. A stateless society, no. There'll always be a need for a state. I think we could evolve. We could evolve past a lot of things. But you're always going to have some form of a judicial system to enforce contracts, because there's going to be business questions. There's going to be questions of property rights. There's always going to be that thing. There's always going to have to be things that are going to need to be adjudicated. So you can't have a totally stateless society. I think you can reform and streamline the state in a way that it works for the people. We're going to talk about the way that they're going to try to put regulations because of some Redditors here in just a little bit. All right. This guy that we're going to hear from, he's actually pretty cool. He's some rich motherfucker. He's the CEO of Social Capital, I think is the name of the company. He's on the phone with this douchebag from CNBC. And hopefully he's got... Oh, I need to break it down. That's right. I need to... So, some Wall Street Bets Reddit. I don't know if that's the link that you sent me there, Producer Dave. This Wall Street Bets Reddit had been like... They give financial advice. They're kind of wild. You know how Reddit groups work. Oh, it's a funny political compass. Okay, hold on. Let me... Oh, I bet I know which one it is. Oh no, I've not seen this one. Shit, I can't read all that right now, Dave. There's one that has like the Aryan numbers up, and there's like 420 down in the bottom left hand corner, and it's like 13 over in the cracked me up. All right, so a bunch of Redditors noticed that there were short sellers that were betting against GameStop. They were betting that GameStop's stock was going to go down. I don't know fucking shit about financial stuff. But basically, you can take a bet against a stock that you can buy the stock at a reduced price that you think it's going to be. And it's like you're doing like a rental thing. See, I don't even fucking know, and all the times I've heard it explained, it doesn't even sound like it's fucking legal. Basically, they were driving down the price of GameStop. So a bunch of Redditors got together and decided to buy stock mainly through Robinhood. I don't want to use an app like Robinhood because Robinhood it doesn't have a fee on its trading because it sells your data to Wall Street firms so that they can hedge their bets off of having your data. It's a whole mess of shit, but basically the Redditors made a lot of money. You promise to sell the stock at a set price at a later date. If the price of the stock goes down significantly, you buy it at the cheaper agreed upon price for resale and make a bunch of money on the stock going down. So they were betting that GameStop was going to go down. See, it doesn't seem like you should be able to do this shit. But all right. So today we woke up, Robinhood had restricted buying GameStop. AMC, there's a couple other stocks that they're doing this to, kind of worthless companies, Nokia. It does seem like voodoo shit because that's exactly what it is. And just as soon as the people found out the loophole to take advantage of it, they're gonna try to do something about it. That's why we're getting ready to watch video after video, some rich motherfuckers bitching about it, I'm sure. I think this dude's got the right take.
On Tuesday,
I'm not exactly sure, though.
Options. Chamath Palihapitiya is the CEO of Social Capital. He joins us now on the phone. Chamath, thank you for being here.
Hi, Scott. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. So you tweeted yesterday that you bought $115 calls in GameStop. Can you tell me what your position is as of this very moment?
Yeah. Can I tell you a little story before all of that, or no?
Why don't you tell me that first, and then we'll go from there.
So this morning I woke up after spending all last night in Wall Street Bets, reading about all of this stuff. I ended up closing up my position this morning, and I wanted to announce that I'm taking all the profits that I made, plus my original position. So I'm going to take $500,000, and I'm going to donate to the Barstool Fund for Small Businesses. But I really want to tell you, beyond the $500,000,
oh, those guys are dickwads.
Donation or the money that I invested, which was, not.
But it seems like they're doing a good thing.
Of that stock or the entire market. What I learned, because I think what I learned over the last couple of days is important for everybody that's watching CNBC.
And that is?
I think that what you're seeing is essentially a pushback against the establishment in a really important way. You have a lot of people, and I would encourage anybody who is dismissive of this thing to go into Wall Street Bets and actually just read the forums. And I think that you're going to see three kinds of posts. The first kind of content are a lot of people doing some incredible fundamental diligence on companies, trying to think about long-term value. And in my opinion, many of them are doing as good and, frankly, a better job than a lot of hedge fund analysts that I work with. That's number one. The second are a lot of people who believe that, coming out of 2008, what happened was Wall Street took an enormous amount of risk, and they left retail as the bag holder. And a lot of these kids were in grade school and high school when that happened. They lost their homes. Their parents lost their jobs. And they've always wondered, why did those folks get bailed out for taking enormous amounts of risk and nobody helped and showed up to help my family? And then the third thing is a realization that instead of having idea dinners or, quiet whispered conversations amongst hedge funds in the Hamptons, these kids have the courage to do it transparently in a forum. And I'm not saying all of it is perfect by any means.
Oh, so Melvin is already, they sold out?
An enormous amount of
I have no clue what
faith
that
in the
fucking
system
means.
to be that transparent, to talk about things, and then for each individual to make their own mind up and to do things, whether it's to buy and to sell.
So I guess they bought the stock back at whatever price it was whenever they sold out. I thought the whole Robinhood closing down was to drive the price of the stock back down. Because I was under the impression that they had they had a deadline, and the deadline was tomorrow, as I understood it. So this is former WWE champion John Bradshaw Layfield on Fox News Channel. He's actually pretty good. He's conservative though, but he knows finance.
We've seen short squeezes before. We've seen companies that weren't worth very much before. And Thomas was right when he talks about this is a $17 stock, this GameStop stock. It's going to go back to that eventually. And you're going to see all these retail investors.
I thought it was like $4.
This is going to end up ugly. The problem that you have, though, is trying to regulate the last trade.
Oh, 17 is where it started.
You can't regulate bad decisions. And who says it is a bad decision? That's a right of an American to make a decision, whether it's good or bad. What you need to look into is, was there any collusion for the start of this trade? Because it looks like there was somebody that put this momentum trade together. And if so, then those people are probably already on the other side of the trade now. And the question is, where do they go next? Because if you end up trying to stop what they are doing here in the short equity market, they're going to go somewhere else because this model worked. This was a fantastic trade, one of the best of the last 10 years. Whether you like how they did it or not, they made a lot of money. They're going to go into currency shorts, so they're going to go into commodity futures, most likely next. The question is where.
But then, how is what they're doing anything other than what the market is designed for? Other than it's just poor people, regular people doing it. I'm really not getting that. Let's check out the CEO of Robinhood was just on might have been MSNBC, CNBC. This was just a couple hours ago, I think. 6:06. That's when they posted it.
Bring in the CEO of Robinhood, Vlad Atenev, is with us right now, and we appreciate it.
Yeah. JBL. JBL is referring to it as like some nefarious, organized crime syndicate or some shit. Like he's talking about it like the Melvin Capital. That's what they were doing, and doing it in a predatory way. The opposite way. I wouldn't kick him out of bed. And I wouldn't turn down the invite from the two of you.
You joining us on a day where there are so many questions, and as Melissa just said, there are frankly...
Exactly. They noticed that GameStop was being shorted. And I had somebody bring up, like, there's a nostalgia to it. Like, the people on Reddit probably grew up going to GameStop, going to midnight releases with games. And they didn't want to see it be taken advantage of by these assholes the way they did Toys R Us. So, goddamn. And we don't really get any honesty from the financial media, that's for sure. But this is the thing. So I guess primarily a lot of this took place on Robinhood. Apparently 50-something% of the users on Robinhood own stock in GameStop.
As you know, a lot of angry customers out there and a lot of questions about what took place and the decisions that you made to limit so many of your customers' ability to buy stocks like GameStop. Questions about...
And also, like, I think this story is far more significant than what any of us realize right now. Like, this could be studied in the history books as a real turning point in our society. Because there are a lot of factors at play right now.
Whether you have a liquidity problem, whether you're trying to protect them from themselves, whether Citadel did this. Explain what happened today.
I want to pet his eyebrows. They're so perfect.
Andrew. So what happened today was, as you pointed out, we had to make a very difficult decision. It's been a challenging day. We made the decision in the morning,
and we should want to
limit the buying of about 13 securities on our platform. So to be clear, customers could still sell those securities if they had positions in them, and they could also trade in the thousands of other securities on our platform. So it was a difficult decision, and that's what we had to do as part of normal operations.
But explain then, why did you do this? What did the SEC...
Well, it's not just their investors, but it's like, that's their main customer. They're not making money off of the trades that regular people are doing. They are making money off of selling the data from people, from the app. So right from the get-go, they have the wrong incentive. That's why I won't use the Robinhood app. But also, I have a shit ton of penny stock. And apparently it's really hard to find a broker that deals with that. I've been trying to start an account somewhere, and I gave up just because everywhere I call, we're like, nah, we can't deal with that. Well, that's where his money is coming from. That's what his product is, the data of its users. He sells it to the hedge funds so that they have a leg up on the people that are doing the investing. So they're actually using the app against the people that he's actually selling their data to. So I can understand his incentive is the other way. That makes total sense.
Did he call you and tell you you had to do this? Was there a problem inside the company in terms of liquidity, in terms of the amount of deposits that you had to put it in front to the exchanges? What led to this?
Sure, and let me explain exactly how this works. First of all,
but that was never his business model.
The misinformation that's been out there, because there's a lot of it. We absolutely did not do this at the direction of any market maker or hedge fund or anyone we route to or other market participants. The reason...
Now, I believe that. I believe that there's no fucking hedge fund or anything reaching out to him and be like, hey, can you stop them from buying? I believe that 100%. Exactly. That's a straw man for him to be able to get up there and fight against. That's not what you're accused of, motherfucker. But your incentives put it in your benefit to do that for them.
And we did it was because Robinhood is a brokerage firm. We have lots of financial requirements, including SEC net capital requirements and clearinghouse deposits. So that's money that we have to deposit at various clearinghouses. So some of these requirements fluctuate quite a bit based on volatility in the markets, and they can be substantial in.
Oh, so I believe what he's trying to say is that it was too much money for them to actually go and make a deposit on. So that they had to cut off buying.
In the current environment where there's a lot of volatility
exactly
and a lot of concentrated activity in
but even his explanation is couched in this fucking complex language that I had to be like, oh, this is what he's saying.
Social media. So we're really in unprecedented times, and in order to protect the firm and protect our customers, we had to lit buying in these stocks. And to be absolutely clear, Go ahead.
But it sounds to me, though, that you're suggesting that there was a liquidity problem inside the firm. And my question about that then raises all sorts of new questions about whether there's a systemic issue underneath the system and underneath the company unto itself.
Oh, did you see that? He smirked.
There was no liquidity problem.
He's like, oh, shit, he got me.
This was done preemptively. So we did this proactively, and thousands of other securities remain tradable on the platform. Customers that held these positions were able to sell them. And we're doing what we can to allow buying and to remove these restrictions in the morning. But also, you might have seen Robinhood has been...
Drive it down as far as they can today and let them get out.
Overall. So we have seen unprecedented interest due to the fact that finance has been culturally relevant in a way that hasn't been before, and these stocks are going viral on social media. And I think it's really interesting to juxtapose against some of the other questions that we've been having before this. Of course, Robinhood stands for everyday investors. From the very beginning, we have stood for investors.
No. It is stealing from the poor and giving to the rich.
Trade commission free and whatever they want. And we've gotten a lot of criticism that, maybe there should be more restrictions. So it pains us to have had to impose these restrictions, and we're going to do what we can to enable trading in these stocks as soon as we can.
God damn. We ain't done with GameStop videos, that's for sure. I do not know what this guy's name is. I think he's right. But then again, this was posted by Young Americans for Liberty. They don't usually have the right position. But I think he's sticking up for the Reddit investors.
First of all of this nonsense, all of this noise, all of this whining by Wall Street, it's making me sick. 140% of GameStop was short. I didn't hear one person on TV complaining about Wall Street trying to crush GameStop. 140% short. I told my subscribers, buy this stock, and they made a fortune. I also told them to buy Virgin Space. Virgin, we took profits on that today. Fizz, that's up huge. Tangers is up huge. Neil, you can't allow Wall Street to short 75% of a stock, and nobody says anything. Crush these companies into the dirt, and then when the individual investor makes money, everyone's up in arms. Oh, they're going to lose their shirt. Don't you think people are trading? If it traded 80 billion shares today, people are ringing a register. I have a kid who bought a house. He made $50,000 and bought a house. So yes, some people are going to lose and some are going to win. But if they want to change the rules of the game now because the general public is making money after decades of the shorts crushing thousands of stocks into the dirt, I've watched stocks being crushed completely to zero, and no one ever whispered anything because those stocks didn't have Wall Street sponsorship. They were small names. Maybe they went public through a reverse takeover. Whatever it was, the shorts have had their way with the market for decades. No one's ever complained about it. So I am thrilled. If you
I don't know how it's legal in the first place.
140% of its stock, you have to accept the fact that individual investors are playing the same game that you're playing, and now you're losing.
That's the right take. And we got it from Fox fucking Business Channel. Holy shit. But this is going to be a huge topic, especially like in the opening days of the Biden administration. Jen Psaki was asked about it earlier today.
The White House concerned about the stock market activity we're seeing around GameStop, and now with some other stocks as well.
Hey-o!
The subsidiary or whatever, the company that was Blockbuster. And have there been any conversations with the SEC?
Wait, Blockbuster was one of them too? In the arms of... I didn't know they were doing Blockbuster. I knew it was AMC, Virgin, Nokia. Blockbuster. I didn't even know Blockbuster still existed. Is there even still one around?
About how to proceed.
Well, I'm also happy to repeat that we have the first female Treasury Secretary and a team that's surrounding her, and often questions about market we'll send to them. But our team is, of course...
Dude, I haven't had a Nokia in 20 fucking years.
The situation. It's a good reminder, though, that the stock market isn't the only measure of the health of our economy. It doesn't reflect how working and middle-class families are doing. As you all know from covering this, we're in the midst of a K-shaped recovery. America's workers are struggling to make ends meet, which is why the president has introduced this urgent package to get immediate relief to families. All right, I'm going to go Nadia, and then we'll be...
Go ahead. Is the White House concerned about the stock market activity?
The K-shaped recovery. I hadn't heard that term in a little while. I shudder to think what they're going to do in response to this. But it looks like Liz Warren might be one of the ones that's up front, so maybe they'll do the right thing. A yellow Nokia. I don't remember. I remember them always being like they were blue and they had like a little gray thing on them. She seems normal. Holy, like anything's gonna seem normal next to what we've had. I can't even tell you what I did with my Nokia from 20 years ago. And I do remember that my ringtone was do you think it's still in one piece somewhere? It played Real Slim Shady as its ringtone in MIDI.
Retail trading activity and subsequent restrictions placed on trading.
That's probably what happened to it.
And interactive brokers has caught the attention of many elected officials, some of whom are calling for increased.
What are we doing? Oh, this is Liz Warren.
Senator Elizabeth Warren weighed in, tweeting yesterday, quote, "The same hedge funds, private equity firms and wealthy investors dismayed by the GameStop trades have treated the stock market like their own personal casino while everyone else pays the price. It's long past time for the SEC and other financial regulators to wake up and do their jobs." And joining us now for a first on-scene...
Well, we have a Democratic administration now.
Democratic Senator from Massachusetts. Senator Warren, thanks so much for joining us. Good afternoon to you.
It's good to see you. Thank you for having me.
So talk us through what you meant by the content of that tweet. What do you think has been wrong in the actions of the last week or two, and what do regulators need to do to stop it?
So look, the first part of this is we all see what's happening with GameStop. There are rich people on both sides of this, people who are trying, it appears, to manipulate this market. And that's what we don't know.
Wait, she just both sides this thing? Come on. Fucking Senator Warren, this is the biggest layup that you could possibly be faced with. Do not let the guy on Fox fucking Business Channel have a better take on this. This is supposed to be your area of expertise.
The details of. For a long time now, the SEC has pulled back and not made sure that we have an honest market. The whole point of having a stock market is so that people across this country, around the world, can invest in businesses, help create that capital accumulation.
Not rich.
Businesses have the money they need to grow and to prosper. Instead, what has happened is it's turned into.
Or I'm sure
so that market manipulators.
I'm sure there's a lot of disgruntled Wall Street workers in that thread. I'm sure there's a lot of bright minds that say fuck the man and don't want to work at a Wall Street firm but know the material very well. Express like the mall store Express. That makes sense, and GameStop's a mall store. AMC's kind of a good bet. I would say if you're looking at late summer, fall, full on opening, I'd say the demand's gonna be high. So AMC is probably a really good stock to buy when it's at this low point at this moment. I would think that's a really good one. I might want. I need an investment account, but don't do Robinhood. All right. Okay. Come on. Senator Warren, please.
Come in and they drive markets up or down and make a profit on it. It's called the gamification of the market. And all of a sudden,
I've never heard of structure, so that must have been a West Coast thing.
The only ones who make money when the manipulation works. But remember the other half of this. There are going to be a lot of people who are going to lose money around this, a lot of money that they can't afford to lose. This is why we need an SEC that has clear rules about market manipulation, and
I have no clue what cost is
to go in and enforce those rules.
So, Senator Warren, is your bigger issue that these types of trades were going on over the last couple of weeks and pushing GameStop up, or that people...
Surprise is not the word that I'll like. Yeah, all this makes sense. It's all a perfect storm.
Opposite, and I just wonder which is the bigger issue.
Oh, I do know.
The bigger issue for me is the SEC's inability and unwillingness to deal with market manipulation. It's not just what's happened in the last couple of weeks. Let me take an example. The example around stock buybacks. We all understand what stock buybacks are about. They're about companies buying back their own stock so they can inflate the.
I don't know. You guys might not have been in here when I showed the graph. Let's show it again, because it's so fucking funny. I found this on Twitter. One more time.